Hey folks, this is Z-Man with Kadesh Farm. I wanted to give you an update on the rams and let you know that rotational grazing does work. We started out in this area right here and it mostly looked like this, probably a little bit worse. This has a lot more grasses in it, but this area right here had a lot more weeds and stuff. As you can see, a lot of the stubble that I have out there, and I put the rams in here to eat it down. They did a very good job. They urinated and gave me good manure to feed these grasses, and I'll kind of give you an idea of what it used to look like. This was the first area that they used the bathroom, not used the bathroom, but actually fed in, and kind of show it to you in stages. I moved them to this area next, which you can still see a lot of the shrubbery that we have out here, and they pound it pretty good and they ate it down pretty good. And I left them in here a long time so they can eat it all the way down and try and get rid of a lot of the weeds, because we do have some future plans for this area. And we moved them to this next area, which had a lot of shrubbery, which the shrubbery is beginning to recover. If you notice, a lot of the grasses are beginning to recover. But this was the last area that we had them in. And man, did they hammer this. I left them in here an extra long time because this place was so thick. When I released them, I couldn't even see them. But they did a very good job of eating it all the way down. The fencing is not that great, but it was well enough to keep them in. But they did a very good job of eating a lot of the shrubbery, which the shrubbery is beginning to recover. They ate the grasses and the weeds that were down below. You can see it's in the process of recovering. I've had them out of here roughly about 3 or 4 days now, and basically I'll just start the process all over and we'll work our way back down to where I have them at. But you can see the different stages of the grasses, how they're beginning to recover. I basically kept a lot of the fencing up because I do have future plans for these fence panels, like I said in previous videos. But you can see kind of where we're at. They basically been out of this field, or a little paddock, roughly, it had to been 30, 40 days maybe. Enough for it to recover, enough for the parasites, the eggs to hatch and die out, so we don't have to worry about worming these guys. They just look amazing how well they have begun to put on good weight and just look nice and healthy. But my goal is to extend this back so they can eat that back part, and probably buy some more panels and where we can move on down. There's only so far I can go due to rock in this area. So I will build this out and leave my fence posts, because this property that I purchased, they probably left over 200 something fence posts that I've been able to utilize to help with my rotational grazing plan, at least for them to eat a lot of the weeds, because that's a building that we're eventually going to maybe make into a farm store or place for me to have fish. We just have so many ideas of what we could do with it. But this is an area up from our where our cabin is located that we just have options on what we could do. This potentially could be a great garden area. It's just so many options that we have with this area right here. Like on the back side of that over there, there's a lot of weeds. I will be extending the fence back for them to eat a lot of those weeds. The problem with this area, at least over there, I don't know exactly what all is in the weeds. I tried the bush hogging once, and my bush hog got caught up in a bunch of stuff, and I just decided to go ahead and run the sheep through it and let them eat it all the way down to the ground, so I can at least see what's in it and remove it, and then work on future plans. That building is a little dilapidated. You can see holes in the roof and the sides, but we're gonna have it completely renovated and come up with some ideas of what we want to do. But until then, we got the sheep taking care of the grasses for us. We will leave them in this area for about, I don't know, maybe another week or two, maybe roughly about 2 weeks, because it seemed to be growing pretty good. Then I'll rotate them to this area and so on and so forth on down. or I'll just extend it to give this a little more time to recover. That's what I may end up doing, is extending this back that way to give this enough time to recover, for the parasites to hatch out and die out. I'm pretty sure they had parasites when they got here, and if there were no parasites here, I could promise you we probably introduced them when we brought them here, but we just want that life cycle of rotating and grazing them to keep them from being in the same area that they pooped in, and that could keep your parasite load down. We do not worm our animals, and we just rely upon rotational grazing to prevent a lot of the worm infestation or parasite infestation. But we have plenty of grasses, plenty of options to have them to come over and eat. It's just a matter of getting fencing, and just kind of look at this area here. All I would need to buy is 7 more panels to build an L, and boom, I have another pad out. I have it 4 panels, cattle panels deep with 3 cattle panels wide. And like I said, I do have the option of extending it out further that way, or have the option of moving it over. But the good thing is I could utilize the fence posts that are already here, and we have future plans for getting calves, and we want to put them up here and get them used to hot wire and all that fun business, along with probably getting some pigs. Not exactly sure where we will put the pigs as of now, but the pigs will be a more or less a short-term thing. We will not be raising pigs per se. We'll just keep the pigs 7 or 8 months, enough to get them up to butchering weight, and then get them processed, and probably not have pigs throughout the winter, just have them from the spring until fall, get them processed, and we'll do a bit like that. We are looking at ideas of how to generate income and just utilize the land that we have. We have plenty of space out here, and just waiting on God to tell us what our next step is. But I just wanted to give you an update and let you know that rotational grazing does work. This grass, I think is in better shape after we put them in here and let them manure and put manure on the ground and urine. We're just going to continually do this to just build a soil fertility up. Again, like I said, I feel like this is a great area for a garden. It's up away from where the deer can really just hammer into it. My neighbors are pretty close to this area, and the issue of deer being up here will hopefully minimize them eating up our garden. There are other things you can do to try and prevent that, but deer will be deer. But this is Z-Man. Wanted to give you an update, and I'm out.